All right, Lent video number 3, and you'll notice I change my outfit every time and background. That's so when I upload the videos, I know which one's which here, but all right, we're Lent at a glance. This is the start, and now we're going to be down here, the Jesus, the I am. All right, this I think has a chance to be something pretty cool. You're going to want to use this. You're going to want to flip this same packet. You're going to go to Examine Prayer CE5, Examine Prayer CE5. This was one that was developed by a guy named Ignatius of Loyola about 500 years ago. I kind of took it and then I modified it to fit something that made sense to me. Maybe you'd like his plan better, but this is, you got mine there. But all right, here's what we're going to do is we're going to focus in on Jesus makes a series of statements over throughout the Gospels of I am statements, like I am the bread of life, I am the good shepherd, I am the way, the truth, the life, those kinds of statements. Now each week we're going to spend an entire week focusing in on just that that I am statement there. And we're going to do it using the Examine Prayer. Now here's how I want you to start. I want you to start by going and listening to a sermon on this. Matt Chandler, who is the president of Acts 29 and the pastor of the Village Church in Flower Mound, Texas, he did a series of sermons on this. Him and his staff did a series of sermons on this very thing. And if you've never listened to Chandler, I think you're going to really enjoy him. He's a very good preacher. And what I want you to do is I want you to start each week, and we'll start it on Wednesdays. This is based on the Wednesday calendar, so since it starts on Ash Wednesday, and start on Wednesday, and I want you to listen to the first sermon. And there's a schedule here listed out for you here. And so we're going to start with on March 6th, I am the bread of life. And here, and so what you do is you go and you listen to that. The other thing that you will maybe find helpful is, now we actually kind of intended these originally for the children. If you got kids at home, to read this with your kids. And it's a little packet here, and it starts with the I am the bread of life. It's got the gray and purple font there at the start, and each week there's a different article. These were actually written by my wife. And what you may find helpful, and this was helpful for me, is down at the bottom of each page you have this little article that just kind of goes and talks through what the bread of life is the keywords. I think the keywords are going to be helpful. And then this question. So when we talk about the I am the bread of life, the keywords are fill, more than just food, and satisfy. And so what you're going to do now, here's how the Examine Prayer works, is that you are going to pick, you're going to start at the end, it's going to be at the end of the day. I want this to be looking backwards, not forwards. We're doing past tense in this, not present tense or future tense. Past tense, look back at the last day. I want you to recall some moments of that day. And you start with that. The events from the day, you recall some moments from that day. And just think of it, they can be important events, or they could be, seemingly meaningless events. It was, I had this huge thing happen at work, or I ate tacos for lunch today. Like whatever the event is, all right, and think it through. And as you keep doing this, you'll start to see the kinds of things that you'll be grabbing onto. It might take a couple days before it starts to click in your head how you're going to do this, but just keep at it. You'll get it. You just think through the day. Just kind of reflect on what the day was, and then what you're going to do is you're going to ask the question here: how was Jesus the blank today? How was Jesus so this week it'll be the bread of life. How was Jesus the bread of life today? And then that's where I find the keywords are going to be helpful. Is like, how did Jesus fill me today? How was Jesus more than just food to me today? How did Jesus satisfy me today? And maybe you get kind of some of your own keywords. Those are just some of the ones we came up with, but you might get your own keywords that kind of take the bread of life a little bit further than there. But just kind of, how was Jesus the bread of life today? And just reflect back on that. And then make note of that. Make note of that. This doesn't have to be long. Just a sentence, 2 sentences, maybe 3 sentences. But just write some of those things down and reflect on how it is that Christ was at there. And then just do that for a week. So you can spend 7 days on how Christ is the bread of life. And then the following week, it's going to be how Jesus is the light of the world. Week on that. And you're just going to keep doing that. And here's the idea, guys. The idea behind this is that when we get to Easter Sunday, actually before that, when we get to Good Friday, I think we're going to see the Savior hanging on that cross in a way that we didn't see him coming into Lent. It's just there was a facet of him that we never understood before, or that's just going to captivate us this time. And when we get to Good Friday, and when you're sitting there, holding communion in your hand, his body, his blood, looking at his cross, the day's going to mean something more. And then when he comes back to life, 3 days later on Easter Sunday, when we gather as a church family to celebrate, to sing, to declare, we realize that this Savior, oh my goodness, is he ever the one we needed, huh? Oh my goodness, look at him. He's the bread of life, for crying out loud. You know how badly we need the bread of life right now? Oh man, you know how much we need a good shepherd. We don't need a hired hand. We need the good shepherd, right? And then when he comes back to life, like, it's so devastating that he died on Good Friday, but when he comes back to life on Easter Sunday, it's like, oh, okay, good. You're still around, because I need you. Like, I need a Savior just like you. And I'm so glad that you're here. And I'm so glad that you're not dead anymore, but alive forevermore. And whatever, I don't know, whatever it's going to be for you. But that's kind of the intent, is that we're just gonna think about Jesus a lot. That's the whole idea of this. Just think about Jesus a lot, so that come Easter Sunday, we're ready to get our worship on. You know what I'm saying? Now, and if you got kids and you're doing this at home, this would be a really good discipline to do with your kids. If they're 6, 7 years old, it's going to be it might take them a little bit to figure out what do you mean, is Jesus the bread of life? But you know what I'm willing to bet? I'm willing to bet there's going to be some weeks that your kids are going to get this faster than you do. And just sit down, and I don't have one of the wreaths here for the video, but those wreaths we do, just each night, as we count down to Easter, and we move the figurine of Jesus carrying the cross, and then that little candle, as we move that around the circle of the Advent to Lent wreath, each night sit down with your kids and ask the question, how was Jesus the bread of life today? How was he more than food for us today? And just see what your kids come up with. And move a candle, and it could be like a 5-minute conversation, maybe 15 minutes. 15 minutes, probably about tops. 5 to 10 seems about right. And but just talk about that with your kids there, and see what they come up with. I bet you they get some cool stuff. I guarantee you they come up with some cool stuff, because a lot of this stuff, you know what it takes? It takes a childlike faith. Kids got some good insight. Kids got an advantage to us in some places. I think this could be one of them. Anyway, all right, there it is. That is my 3rd video. I think it'll be my final video. Have a good one, guys. We'll see you Sunday. All right.